everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on our Influence Stories with Ana Tainna Shepard from Live in Miami. And we're going to talk about the real estate outlook in South Florida, which is her specialty. Bienvenidos todos a nuestro Influence Stories. Este va a ser bilingüe y vamos a hablar sobre el tema inmobiliario en el sur de la Florida. Tainna, tell us a little bit about your business and what you work on, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs like to listen to us and think about ways of starting a new business. And you started this as a new business, and you've done amazing. So congratulations. Tell us a little bit about that process.
Well, first of all, thank you, Ele, for having us here, Live in Miami Real Estate Team, here in your broadcast. My business partner, Dilar Escalante, couldn't be with us, but thank you so much for having us. In regards to your question, well, have been an interesting ride. As you mentioned, as an entrepreneur, we have built what I consider a solid brand. Live in Miami has become a recognized brand in Miami. We have worked very hard, on the Brickell Realty Group, which is our brokerage home, to build, this little niche, which is Dilar Escalante, Tainna Shepard, as a team. And we specialize here in Miami market, as you said, in South Florida. And it has been a challenging times, moments in history lately, especially, but it has been a great ride.
So we're going to talk about those challenging times in this interesting market that is South Florida. So how is the South Florida market different from maybe any other market?
Well, the South Florida market is very unique, and I'm going to tell you why. The difference with the rest of the United States, especially, okay? The world has this love relationship, this infatuation with Miami, okay? Because Miami has so much to offer. We are a diverse community. We have a lot of entertainment, diversity, food, you name it. We have it all.
We have everything.
We're certainly located because really Miami is in the middle of it all. We are close to the Latin America, close to the Caribbean, close to the islands, and it's really an important economic engine. So it is a mix of what this love relationship people have with Miami, which is a mix of the cultures and everything that we bring to the table. So that makes it different itself, because it's a market that has everything, a little bit of everything for everybody. So I think it's something that not every market in the States can offer,
Exactly. And also, I mean, we talk about Latin America a lot, but the truth is that we have the American Airlines hub right here in Miami International Airport. So there's also a huge connection to Europe. Very direct flights every day. Several a day. So it's also, even though New York is a little bit closer to Europe, we also have direct flights, and so that also brings in. So where are most investors from when they come to South Florida? What do you see in your business? ¿De dónde vienen la mayoría de los inversionistas aquí en el sur de la Florida, de lo que tú has visto en tu negocio?
Bueno, eso depende, porque realmente hay de todos lados. Realmente Miami es un mercado que tiene inversionistas de todos lados, dentro de Estados Unidos, y cuando nos especializamos en hablar dentro de dónde vienen los que están invirtiendo fuerte en este momento en el sur de la Florida, hay mucha gente que está viniendo de Nueva York, de New Jersey, de Connecticut, de Washington. ¿Por qué? Porque en estos mercados tienen los taxes estatales y de ciudad que nosotros no tenemos, y de estado. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Al relocarse, ellos manejan ese sistema de taxes a beneficio de ellos. Entonces, durante esta época, sobre todo de la pandemia, hubo mucho interés, y hay mucho interés de todo lo que es el Northeast de Estados Unidos hacia Miami, ¿ok? No solamente por la taxación, sino también por aquello de que se dieron cuenta de que están en áreas muy limitadas geográficamente, con mucha población, y aquí les brinda mucho mayor calidad de vida. Por otro lado, a nivel de Latinoamérica, el mexicano está invirtiendo mucho en Miami, Colombia invierte mucho en Miami, son mercados muy fuertes, y realmente hay razones tanto económicas como de gobierno que están haciendo que esos mercados se muevan mucho hacia Miami, que es donde hay una economía fuerte, una moneda, lo que llamamos dura, y una economía no fluctuante como la de los países de Latinoamérica.
Well, I'm going to have to ask you to say all that in English again. So tell me a
Yes.
little bit about what is the breakup that you see, because I know I'm seeing all of our viewers start to sign up now, and
Yes.
I can tell that some of them would like this answer in English. So tell us a little bit about the breakup of the buyers that you're seeing right now in your
Yes.
properties. And I would also like to encourage everybody to please send us your questions. And we're here today on Influence Stories with Tainna Shepard of Live in Miami. Go
Yes,
ahead.
one of the strong markets that we see right now, and is definitely one of the big investors right now inside of United States, is New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Washington D.C. It is as well as California. California is investing in this side of the country, but definitely the Northeast part is a strong investor right now. First of all, because Miami is, as I said, a unique location that has so much to offer. Not only the weather, the beach, but the entertainment, the food, the cultural diversity. We have so much to offer, but also the competitive price by the square foot compared with New York, San Francisco, Boston, and other big cities. So we still having a very good competitive prices per square footage. Now, in relation, that is in relation with investors inside the United States. Now, in relation with investors coming from other countries, we see very strong Mexico. I see investing very strong. Colombia is investing very strong. Germany is investing very strong. So there is a lot of reasons why Latin American countries is still investing here because it's economic system that is not fluctuating as much, and that they can bring and diversify their portfolio as far as real estate investment.
That's a great point. And how interesting that the Northeast, I mean, the Northeast has always been a place, you know,
Yes.
where South Florida has always been a place where the Northeast likes to go. You know, we talk about the people that come down for the winter. But
Yes.
what's also interesting, let's talk about, of course, what's on everybody's mind, COVID.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about, have you seen a dip in the market with COVID? Everybody was afraid that there was going to be a massive fall because of COVID. We're experiencing what some see as a second wave of COVID. Some call it just continuation of the first after the reopening right now in South Florida. However, tell me a little bit about how COVID has affected the market, if at all.
Well, let me tell you what has had happened with COVID. COVID certainly have had an impact, not only in the real estate per se, but in the way of doing real estate. Okay, it have definitely been a process of changing and adapting for every market, especially here in Miami, as I said, because we have so many people investing from other places that we need to accommodate all the virtual tours, virtual presentations, and learning how to do this in a more expeditious and practical ways, but also in the market. Okay, there was when we started this process back in March and April, definitely was a full stop. It was a very low percentage of transactions being done. Okay, now that we are kind of reopening and people, as I said, from the Northeast and other parts of the world are investing here, is still steady. Okay, right now it's a steady market, and it's expected to be a steady market for a few months. And I'm gonna tell you why. Remember that real estate market has different aspects. One of the aspects is the consumer confidence in the market, a stimulus from the government, economic factors, okay, but also in this category falls the fact that many people are under forbearance. So many people that lost their jobs, okay, are under the forbearance period that the government gave to backup loans for 6 months in some cases. And the government backup loans have another 6 months that they could apply. So the risk factor is not there yet because they're still in that process. So
Right.
the market is still steady. People are still doing transactions. And definitely it's a point where there is opportunities in the market.
Right. So talk to me about those opportunities. Where do you see opportunities coming up for investors as well as, regular people who want to buy a new house? They need to maybe they're renters now, or they want to buy a condo. Do you see opportunities for both investors and, run-of-the-mill buyers?
Well, I'll tell you, especially for the first-time home buyers, people have been renting the whole time. I think this is a great opportunity because one of the economic factors and engine in all this is the interest rates. So interest rates, as a result of the economic stimulus that the Feds are putting in, to kind of pump it up and
right.
to is the interest rates. The interest rate at all-time low. So we have keeping records in United States, so lower than 3%. So that makes, which is amazing. That never happened before. So that means that this is the time when people that are for the first time considering, investment in their own properties. This is the time because there are many programs for first-time home buyers, home readiness programs that could get them their house of their dreams and their first home. So this is for them a great opportunity to apply for a loan. As far as investors, there are great markets right now to invest. And what drives a great market is the amount of supply and demand. When you have a lot of supply in one market, that becomes a buyer's market. So there are certain places in Miami that are definitely good to look at and a very good option for investors.
Oh, I'm going to have to, I think this is really important for you to say in Spanish. Háblame un poquito sobre qué oportunidades hay para inversionistas y también para personas que a lo mejor están pensando en comprarse una casa, a lo mejor por primera vez, que siempre han alquilado y ahora quieren tomar ese paso. ¿Cuáles son estos? ¿Es un momento de oportunidad o es un momento de esperar?
No, definitivamente para aquellos que siempre han rentado y que quieren por primera vez ser propietarios, este es un gran momento. Y les explico por qué. Desde que tenemos conciencia de estar llevando los números y récord de los números a nivel de todo lo que es rates de préstamos.
Sí, los préstamos bancarios.
Los préstamos bancarios es lo más bajo que hay en este momento. Las tasas bancarias están bien bajas, por debajo del 3%, lo cual hace que sea una grandísima oportunidad junto y aunado a los programas que hay para los primeros compradores de casas. Entonces, tenemos grandes programas a muy buenos intereses bancarios. De hecho, nosotros acabamos de ayudar a varias familias a un 2,75%. Wow. Estamos hablando de una diferencia a unos años atrás, un tiempo atrás, de un 4%, que es bastante grande. Entonces, definitivamente este es el momento en una persona, una familia que quiera comprar. A través ahí del lado de la perspectiva para un inversionista, igualmente, porque si es un inversionista que quiere comprar financiado, también hay programas con muy buen rate para inversionistas extranjeros, y hay definitivamente muy buenas oportunidades en un mercado que tiene bastante inventario que ofrecer y áreas que definitivamente se han convertido en una muy buena opción para un inversionista.
Y ese es el tema, ¿no? Que he visto, eso sí me he fijado, yo soy, no sé, me interesa mucho, siempre me ha interesado mucho, tú lo sabes, el mercado inmobiliario del sur de la Florida. Me gusta mucho estar siempre viendo las propiedades. Y me he dado cuenta que hay movimiento. De hecho, veo que se pone una propiedad y al mes ya se vendió, o sea, ya está under contract o menos en muchos casos. ¿Tú ves este mercado en este momento? Mencionaste antes de que ¿hay o no hay? O sea, yo me estoy dando cuenta que hay poca propuesta, o estoy equivocada. O sea, pocas, que hay como menos, que están poniendo menos cosas a la venta.
Bueno, y eso lo digo en español o en inglés.
En español y después lo vamos a decir en inglés.
Bueno, realmente tienes razón en las dos cosas, y te voy a decir por qué. Hay mercados que en este momento el submarket, ¿ok?, más fuerte que hay en este momento en relación a lo rápido que se vende y al nivel que se vende, está, por ejemplo, Coral Gables, Coconut Grove, Pinecrest. Esos son mercados súper fuertes, en donde de hecho no duran las propiedades, las casas. Okay. Y te voy a decir por qué. Hay dos mundos dentro del real estate, lo que es el condo y lo que es las casas individuales, los single family homes. Son dos mundos diferentes, ¿ok? En cuanto a Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, Pinecrest, South Miami, son unos mercados muy fuertes que realmente hay poco lo que sale y se vende muy rápido. ¿Ok? Eso por un lado. Así que esa percepción tuya es cierto. Y sobre todo por el área donde tú vives. Esa área donde tú vives, de Coral Gables, esa área es hot. Yeah. hasta $1.500.000 salen y venden y se venden muy
Inmediatamente,
rápido.
es una locura. Yeah.
Y te voy a decir por qué, porque es que hay muy poco inventario de casas single family homes
Yeah.
en ese rango para esa área, y es una de las áreas que en todo este proceso la gente que viene del noreste de Estados Unidos quiere single families y están buscando single families. Entonces, esa es una de las áreas donde más están buscando. Por otro lado, no hay tanto entrando, ¿ok? En el mercado, por lo que te estoy diciendo. Hay mucha gente que ahorita, durante esta situación de que 42 millones de personas se han quedado sin empleos, hay mucho estímulo entrando ahorita. Entonces, el estímulo, incluyendo los forbearance, está sujetando un mercado, ¿ok? Lo que vamos a ver es qué pase después, cuando ya los forbearance process y el tiempo de perdón de las mortgage haya pasado y haya que reiniciar el proceso. Ahí es donde tenemos que ver cómo se ajusta el mercado.
Exactamente. Vamos a hablar. The question that they just asked in English, what would you say is the main driver in the real estate market right now? Is it families looking to move up to a better home? I think this has a lot to do with what you just said in Spanish. So if you could tell us a little bit in English, what's driving the market right now? Tell us a little bit about what the market is, whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, but tell us a little bit about what you were just saying about the areas in Miami-Dade County. And we have the question here of how is the Doral area?
Well,
we have a question that just came in.
Yes, I'm going to go with your first question. Okay, your first question. The market is driven by people, two things, and there are different answers for this, okay? In general, okay, remember that 53% of homes in United States are owned by baby boomers. Okay, those are the people that have the biggest homes, that have the largest homes, and that they want to downsize. Okay, those are homes that are gonna enter the market and are in the process of entering the market. Okay, so having said that, there are people that in that category from the Northeast that want to move to a better weather, okay, or that definitely want a more quiet place to raise their families, is driven the market, okay, definitely. You know, Miami is a place where either for economic reason, for work reason, for relocation reasons, or for family reasons, okay? Miami is a center where you don't want to lose. And that's why it's one of the hot markets, and it will be a hot market because that love relationship that I'm telling you that the world have with Miami. Either because we have a culture, either because of the weather, either because of the beach, whatever reason it is, but people like Miami. And one of the reasons that is driven the market is that the competitive prices by square footage, people relocating, people looking for better options in weather, especially after the pandemic. People have seen that how important it is to be in a place that you can not be confined inside of a little apartment. And they're looking for options. They're looking for options in single homes, in places that it could bring more of a family environment. And definitely, this is a strong market. Miami will always be a good market to invest.
And I wanted to ask you, like we talked about, what about, you know, the like you said, well, the first-time home buyers can take advantage of these amazing rates that the banks are giving now. How hard is it that you have seen since these rates went down? How difficult is it to actually get a loan? Because these rates sound fantastic, but then you go to the bank and you can't get them. Are they actually attainable for a normal person, or do they have to have 100 perfect, 100% perfect credit?
No, it's attainable. It's attainable. We have work right now is deal with people that have less than perfect credit. There are programs that with 580 you can qualify for an FHA loan. You need 2 years standard because it's still, you know, more or less the same. It has been a little bit more challenging for investors, okay? For people from other countries. Okay, it was a moment for when they changed the rules. First of all, you could before this time, they could enter with 30% to 35% down. Now they're requiring 50% down.
Ooh, okay. For investors.
So,
foreign investors or just any type?
No, for foreign investors.
Wow.
So for them, it's been a little bit more challenging. But for people that live here that want to have a loan, it's been the same. And actually, it's 2-year taxes, you know, all the regular stuff that we ask. 580 at least in the score credit. And also, even though that if you have your pay stubs, they're going to require a letter from your employer making sure that after your last paycheck, COVID didn't get you out of job. So that's one of the things that they are requiring right now.
Really important.
That's really
important.
important.
There's a little bit more of like having to get a letter from your employer to see that you're still employed as per your last pay stub.
Because exactly, they just want to make sure that you still in the track even after, and they check several times during the process to make sure you're still having a job even though that they approved you. So yeah, but it's still doable, and we can get it done.
This is a really good question. What if you are self-employed? Have you seen issues with the loans if you are self-employed?
Well, no, I haven't. The requirements is still being the same. As long as you have a sustainable numbers that you can prove that you're still in the business, you still in the numbers, you are not losing money, you're still operating under. No, I haven't seen it.
Right. I mean, I think maybe that's a question also for more of like an accountant, because sometimes when you're self-employed, you do some things and it's a little bit different than just having a regular job where you get a paycheck every 2 weeks.
Correct. But that part, the requirements are going to be the same for the bank. The bank is going to ask everything from your accountant, as long as you have how to prove that you have a business that is producing an income, okay, and that you have the trust. Okay, you gain the trust from the entity for they say, hey, okay, you are solid enough for me to lend you the money, okay, because your business is solid. I don't see why it will not happen. It's not indeed. We're working with an investor like that here, and he hasn't had any problem so far.
That's good to hear. We also have we have Oscar asking questions. He is a well-known real estate reporter, so he would like to know, and it's true. It's a good question. Many people like now there's all this for sale by owner. In fact, I've seen it, if you're a realtor, don't even bother calling me. Like I've seen the ads, So why would anybody want to use a realtor or a broker if they could just go and sell it themselves? Like why do that? Why go through that process and that expense? Because there is a 6% commission that you guys make, right? So well, between you and the buyer, the seller, in general, that's how much it is. So tell me a little bit about why hire or why go with a realtor?
Well, I always say the same way that I don't want to take a tooth out of my mouth myself and I go to a dentist. It's the same process. I always think that using a professional in the area that you need is always going to work the best. Why? Any person can put a yard sign and say for sale by owner, but that person doesn't have the capacity to veto and to make sure the person is a qualified buyer. Okay, so when we come in with a strategy, with knowledgement of the market, with complete analysis of not only your unit that you're gonna sell, but also the market around you. What are your options? What are the people don't understand also that the real estate market works in waves and in economic cycles. Where is the economic cycles in your area right now? Economic cycles vary in the market. Not all the areas are at the same point and in a point of time. So that makes a difference. Makes a difference when you have the knowledge in how to negotiate, in what to look for, in how to veto that person, in what your strategy in that area. So everything is definitely a big difference when you work with a real estate agent.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing, not for nothing, but it's the same thing that I always tell my clients. You can go and try to write a press release by yourself and send it out there, but we have a network of journalists that we work with every day. We know how to distribute your news. We know how to pitch your news. We know how to write the press release so that it gets picked up. So there's a process, even though it sounds like a 1, 2, 3 step, it's not necessarily that cookie cutter simple. Right.
No, it's not, especially not in Miami market, where everything, there is a lot of things that are diverse, that are moving parts, that you need to be making sure that every part of the process is clean. So that's what we assure you when you work with a good real estate agent like our team Live in Miami and our brokerage office, Brickell Realty Group. We have make sure that everything is done from A to Z, and the process and the acknowledgement behind is reliable and it's a professional service in the best of our capabilities.
Now, there's also an issue going on with COVID as well, which is the whole you can't evict anybody from your property. Have you guys been dealing with anything like that? I know that in Miami-Dade County, it was extended as to nobody can be evicted. Can you explain to us a little bit of what that means?
Look, it's been very, very difficult. I think, look, in a personal side, I can tell you that I have personally cried with clients of ours. It have been heartbreaking to see this process. There are so many people that were furloughed or laid out or they lost their job for good. They're renters. They depend in, you know, if the goodness of the landlord. So there was never, okay, you cannot evict anybody, okay, but there was always a consensus that need to be made between the landlord and the rent. Yes, in the how we're gonna manage that, okay? Because for the other side, you have the landlord that is pressuring you as a realtor. I want my money. They need to pay. And you have for the other side, this person that cannot pay, humanly cannot pay. Right. So how we have reached a middle point? Well, we have come to an agreement is, okay, let's try to do this. Let's try to pay half of your rent, and then we put the other half towards the end operating. The other half that you've been moving along. But certainly, you know, there is not... You cannot evict anybody, but certainly the process is going to start very quick as soon as they can.
That's the problem. I mean, we also have to think about, you know, landlords, because a lot of them they may own a couple of properties that they rent out. They still have to pay maintenance. They still have to pay taxes at the end of the year. They still have to pay if something breaks. They still have to, you know, they have expenses, and maybe that is part of their income. Yes. And so the issue is that, I mean, I understand and I'm 100% for it, but this has to be, when this ends, there has to be a way to make all of these ends meet.
Yes, so and that's what we're trying. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to conciliate the fact that yes, we're gonna give you a break, and the owner is willing to give you a break. How we're gonna do it now is that the part that we did work with. So in many points, we reached that, okay, for the next 2 months, you pay half of the rent. Okay, but then remember that those are going to be prorated right after.
Right, because you can't just forget about that money. I mean, you signed a contract.
Forget about it.
So this is something that people have to understand. You signed a contract, so at some point this will catch up. Aquí hay una pregunta en español que lo hablamos en inglés, pero no lo hemos hablado en español. ¿Cómo están los bancos ahora con los requisitos? Lo mencionaste antes. Háblame un poquito sobre los intereses de los bancos. Ahora están bien bajitos, pero es muy difícil conseguir estos préstamos maravillosos, unicornios de los bancos.
No es muy difícil, y de hecho es un muy buen momento, y de hecho los invito a que hagamos ese ejercicio, que además no nos cuesta nada que lo hagamos, porque realmente es un muy buen momento, realmente es un momento histórico en lo bajo que están los intereses. Les estaba contando que de hecho nosotros hemos cerrado transacciones por debajo del 3%, en 2,75%, con un averaje de puntuación de score que no es el perfecto tampoco. Entonces, hay planes desde el 580 en score. No serán 2,75, pues puede ser un 3%, y las regulaciones siguen siendo las mismas. Mientras podamos demostrar que hay un trabajo estable, que la relación entre las deudas y lo que entra no sobrepasa cierto límite, mientras podamos demostrar que la persona tiene la capacidad de asumir esa deuda, el banco está dispuesto a darlo. Entonces, este es el momento, yo pienso, ideal para gente que no ha comprado casa antes, porque además hay programas que los incentivan como primeros compradores a entrar en este proceso.
Eso es lo bonito, ¿no? Que los primeros compradores puedan tomar esta como una oportunidad para convertirse en dueños de su propia casa. Ahora, háblame, ya que estamos hablando en español, para los que nos ven de Latinoamérica y de España, háblame un poquito sobre lo que me dijiste de que para los inversionistas extranjeros quizás se está poniendo un poco más difícil.
Bueno, sí, de hecho cambió un poquito las reglas para los inversionistas extranjeros. Antes estábamos encontrando financiamiento entre un 30 y un 35% para down, ¿ok? Para lo que es el enganche o la cuota inicial, como le dicen en otros países. Ahorita están pidiendo el 50%. Pero ahora, esta es la situación. Para gente que está comprando, inversionistas en proyectos nuevos, en preconstrucciones, y siempre ha sido el 50% prorrateado, ya sea en preconstrucción, ya seas local o seas de otro país, ¿ok? Siempre se entra con 50%. Ahora, sí cambió eso en cuanto a gente que está buscando inversionistas de otro país en reventa, ya no es el 30-35%, es el 50%, y los requerimientos son siempre más o menos lo mismo, lo cual para gente de otros países es mucho más fácil que nosotros porque no hay manera de tener una relación entre las deudas y los ingresos en otro país. Entonces para ellos es mucho más fácil adquirir un préstamo porque solamente cartas de el trabajo, estados bancarios, carta del contador y cartas de recomendaciones. Entonces realmente el proceso para ellos es mucho más fácil, pero sí se está requiriendo más dinero al frente.
Siempre que tengan, exacto, lo que es la cuota inicial, como quien dice, ¿no? Siempre que tengan eso.
Es correcto.
Muy bien, pues ya nos hemos pasado el tiempo. We're going over 30 minutes here, and I always like to stop it at 30 minutes. I really appreciate it. I think we're going to have to do a little redux and see what happens in a few months, like you mentioned, because I think that real estate is something that's very important in South Florida. We all know it. We're all touched by it. I really appreciate your time, Tainna, and we're going to tag you guys here on our comments so that you guys can reach Tainna and ask her any questions that you may have. And I can tell you she is a wealth of information. So I highly recommend that you write to her.
Thank you so much. And we appreciate the time, Helena, you and your company that gave us today. So thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you, everybody. Today, this was our influence stories for the week with Tainna Shepard from Live in Miami. Have a wonderful week and a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.